Live from Studio B at the TWRA headquarters in Nashville, Tennessee WildCast is on the air with your hosts, Doug and Jason.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We're glad you're with us. We're live on Facebook right now, and you're seeing that's well. The show is live on Facebook.
Gotcha.
What you're seeing is some red deer on bed on Laurel Hill Lake.
Yeah.
VFW. All right. We got Mr. Chris Cole with us today, and he's the expert. He took some of this video, and he's going to straighten us out. So that's on the
expert. Oh wow.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody on Chris but experts.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
Anyway, so this is some pretty cool footage. But yeah, to prove that we are here.
How can you tell?
Well, we're here. There you go.
All right.
Looks like we got a glitch on camera 3. We'll get that fixed. Anyway, it's going to be a fun show. Free Fishing Day is right around the corner.
We're celebrating it today.
What do you think about these shirts?
Like them. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Chris. These are cool shirts. Free Fishing Day shirts, and it's right around the corner. So,
Can Todd fix your glitch?
yeah, he's going to fix it.
All right. Hey, Free Fishing Day is this week. We brought Chris Cole in here. We'll introduce you more to Chris in a minute. And if you're a Facebook watcher, our Facebook a lot, you see some cool stuff by Chris, whether he's in a kayak, fishing, and makes them nice and short, to the point, sweet, and been shooting some great underwater video this year. And as soon as we can fly a drone again, we're going to get a drone in his hands. Let him go. He's learned all this other stuff, underwater shooting and GoPros, and now we just need to take him to the air. Right?
Yeah. That's right. All right. Todd, if you don't care, widen out that shot right there to get all of us. Yeah, those cameras are dropping like flies, so we're gonna widen out and
Okay. Are we cool? Keep
make
going?
this a watch. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. This is live. We ain't going anywhere.
All right. Well, let's we'll introduce Chris formally here in a second, but I do want to talk about it is Free Fishing Day this Saturday, and that's for everybody. Okay.
Right. Yep.
There's a stipulation there where kids can go during the week if you want to look it up in our fishing guide and see. But for the weekend, it's everybody, and we happen to have a whole lot of events, as you know, that are taking place for kids across the state on our website, tnwildlife.org, and you could call that up here in a little bit too. But
I want to show that to everybody.
There's probably 80 events across the state. Make sure when you're looking at the page it says June the 9th, okay? Because there are other events that take place that may not fall under the same stipulation of Free Fishing Day, which is absolutely free.
Correct.
And the ones that we have and that the agency really sponsors are almost all for kids. But the thing that I want to emphasize is that a lot of these places you can go to, you can fish to, you can fish even when the kids are gone.
Right.
Many of them, we'll talk about Laurel Hill in a minute, there will still be catfish in a lot of them. There will still be, in some areas, we are stocking trout. And, of course, all the public lakes are open it's a good time of year to catch bluegill, shellcracker. Bass are biting good, crappie still biting. And on that day, you can go fishing on June the 9th. You still got to follow all the laws, regulations, okay, as far as how many you could catch, the creel, and how long they have to be if there's a size limit restrictions on them.
You just don't need a license that day.
You don't need a license.
Now, and that whole week is Free Fishing Week for kids, right?
Yes, for the kids. But look in the guide, make sure you get your age right. It's not for you.
Not for me.
Yeah, or Chris or me.
But yeah, our website, if you're listening to the show, if you're not watching, tnwildlife.org, go there and click on right now it's a kid with a cowboy hat on. You click on him, takes you to all the free fishing events, and you can scroll down there and select the tab for your region, West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, Cameron Plateau, and East Tennessee, and see what's happening in your area.
Yeah, and I want to mention while we were messing with the website some yesterday, just updating it some, and we get a lot of questions about warm water stocking of fish. And we're always talking about trout, and you stock a trout, and the trout's ready to be caught, ready to go right then. You can take it home, and but this warm water stocking, it's important. But just want to emphasize these fish are usually about 2 inches long or 3 inches long, but it still gives you an idea of what our guys are doing at the hatcheries and where they're taking these fish and how many thousands upon thousands. So we have a link out there today, just warm water fishing. Just goes to a PDF, just a piece of paper, really. Yeah. But you can keep up all summer long with what's being stocked. And it goes by the same pattern every year. It starts with some of the cold, some like the cool water fish, like a muskie or a walleye or whatever. They start stocking those first. And it goes through the summer. You get into stripers toward the end of the year and hybrids toward the end of the year, and then crappie seem to always finish out the season in October. So if you don't see your favorite fish or your favorite lake out there yet, don't get worried, because there's a long way to go yet. And Florida largemouth bass are being stocked, and you can see it out there too.
Yep. That's a cool resource there to see what's being done.
Yeah, and one other thing I'll mention on the website, we added our webs team is doing a great job of adding a lot of animals back to our website. There's been a separate website that has a lot of mammals on it and birds and all those stuff, and we're bringing them back to our site. So go in there and take a look at it, and you can see the mammals of Tennessee right now as we bring in more stuff from time to time. Okay.
All right.
It's
yeah.
looking good.
So you get large, medium, small, all kinds of different things right there.
From black bears on down.
Yep, right there from the homepage, tnwildlife.org.
Okay.
For all y'all listening on the radio or iTunes there, that's how you get there.
Yeah, but the big news this week is Free Fishing Day, though, and we are going to have a one-page summary we're going to put out pretty soon, working on it this week, of the hunting seasons that will help folks start planning, and that should be out on our website in another, I'm going to give it a week to 10 days as we make sure it's accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, one-page summary, and we'll remind them again next week.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
We got camera 3 back up.
Y'all happy?
That's good. We're going to do this show. It's fun. We're excited to have Chris here. I think it's going to be awesome.
All right. Well,
awesome topics.
Chris Cole has been with us some 25 years, Chris?
Correct.
And Chris started at a hatchery. Which hatchery did you say you started at?
I started as a technician at the Flintville Fish Hatchery.
And then you were the Giles County Wildlife Officer, one
Yep,
of them.
for a few years.
Did you work with Jim Potts, were you?
Jim Potts was my boss,
At
yep.
the time. Okay. Were you sharing the county with anybody at the time?
Started out with John Barham, and John went on to work with the feds and David Crane.
David Crane. And David's still there.
David's still there.
With the other David.
With two Davids.
Two Davids. All right. Then after that, you became the agency lakes manager. And then you probably said, why'd I do that?
Well, took Archie Frank's place and some shoes I could not fill.
He is a legendary man.
So, but we do what we can.
Yeah, you've done a great job. That entails, Chris, the reason you can get some of these great shots is because you are around some cool lakes, and put a camera down there for a minute and get a few good shots of these fish, show folks what they're doing. But you're managing 8 lakes. You and a very small staff of 2 others, right?
Yeah, I have a super crew in Philip McDonald and Colt Littrell, my technicians, and you'll see them traveling all over the mid-state, hauling a lawnmower, hauling a tractor, a road grader, doing what we can to take care of business.
There's a lot more managing a lake than water in there.
Well, when you're fixing the plumbing in a public restroom, it's not near as romantic as it sounds. So yeah.
And some of them, I think you told me before the show started, 3 of the 8 lakes one of them's got 4 lakes on it. So 3 of these places have concessionaires.
They do. You can stop in and you can, of course, buy your license and permits, but you can buy your bait. You can buy your breakfast and lunch. A lot of them 2 of them have a hot grill, but you can still get snacks at all of them. Your bait. So yeah, you can just show, and equipment.
What makes, and I'm going to name all the lakes or get you to in a minute, in Middle Tennessee, because we got the 8 lakes in Middle Tennessee, and then West Tennessee has even more than that.
They do, yeah.
And that's where the majority of our lakes are, because it seems like East Tennessee is just naturally full of lakes.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, these lakes, 8 of them in Middle Tennessee, what are they?
Okay, you have Laurel Hill and VFW in Lawrence County. Mm-hmm. You have the Williamsport Lakes, which actually has 4. Those 4 are included. So you have 4 at Williamsport. It's in Murray County, pretty close to the trace toward the Hickman County line off of Highway 50. You have Bedford Lake, which is over in the Normandy community, and then you have Marrowbone Lake in Davison County outside the Jolta community.
They're all great lakes, and if you're over there at Bedford Lake and you're on Normandy, you're not catching any fish, you just get off just a couple miles away and go to Bedford and start catching fish.
Or vice versa, yeah.
That's right.
You're just right there.
All right, all wonderful lakes. Which one of them have concessionaires on them?
You have Laurel Hill, Williamsport, and Marrowbone have concessionaires.
Okay, so all those do. And if they don't have concessionaires, I know these are pay lakes. We can get into a little bit of what it requires and all that. If they don't have concessionaires, how do you access them?
Like VFW has an honor box, so buy your license. Of course, you can look at who does or who does not have to have a license or permit in the agency lake section. It gets into detail.
Fishing guide, yeah.
But yeah, like VFW have an honor box. Just bring $6 and put in an envelope, basically, and that's That's an old school way of doing it, but it still works.
We trust you. Yeah.
Honor system.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And then Bedford, you can buy the permit just like you would your license.
Okay. All right.
There is a
Wonderful.
Bedford Lake permit.
What makes them so special? What makes our state lakes, our TWR lakes, special?
Well, to me, it's the one place, which I love going to the bigger lakes, like the Pickwick. But, when it's busy, your water sports, everybody's out there. It has every right to be, which, of course, I used to love to water ski. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the mood to just fish and not be around some of the water sports, these lakes here are set up just for fishing. So, basically the rules say, if you put a boat in this lake, that it's for fishing.
We get calls sometimes, or somebody sends us a message on Facebook or whatever, and they just want to go out there and kayak or whatever. The answer to that is you can go kayak, but you better have a fishing pole.
Well, and we used to talk about that a lot. Well, if I bring a pole, I'm like, look,
straighten this out. Yep.
Just be, if you bring your boat, just be a fisherman. Be fishing. So.
All right.
Have your license. Make sure you got that
license and permit if required, and be fishing. So you can define that.
Okay.
And something that can you run big motors on these small lakes? What's the rules on that?
Only now West Tennessee is different. They have some bigger lakes than we have, but in Region 2, Laurel Hill is the only lake that you can run a gas motor.
Okay.
And speed limit at that, right?
Well, no, there is a pretty big safety zone.
Okay.
But once you get out of the safety zone, it's you can open it up.
Can you?
Careful because some of these boats going fast. It's not a big lake, but yeah.
Speaking of lake sizes, what are we talking about size on these lakes?
We're talking anywhere from 15 acres up to Laurel Hill being our biggest, around 325. That's what it says on paper.
Okay,
So,
and then over in West Tennessee, and as Chris said, you can go on our fishing guide, which is on our website, or you can get the hard copy, and it'll tell you the size of all the lakes. There's some over in West Tennessee.
They have some big, a lot bigger than Laurel Hill.
1,000 acres or so.
I'd have to relook. Yeah, they're big.
Yeah. I love some of the small lakes, though. The small lakes can be such great fishing. And what about boats if you don't have a boat on these lakes?
A lot of them have really good bank access. Mm-hmm. And the lakes where we have concessionaires, if you want to rent a boat, most of them are like a flat bottom, just your basic 14-foot, 36-inch floor, flat bottom you can rent, $10 a day.
Okay. And you do have good bank fishing, obviously, or good bank access, but do a lot of them also have piers on them or places they can get out?
Except for VFW, I think, which VFW kind of has some jetties.
Jetties, yeah.
That were put in years ago. Yeah, I guess all of them have either a pier or multiple piers.
And get you away from the bank some
right.
anyway. You can cast back to it or cast the other way too. What fish are primarily in these lakes?
Just your basic that everybody likes to catch. You have obviously your largemouth bass, your channel and blue catfish. You have red ear, which shellcracker, bluegill, crappie. Mm-hmm. So let me know what I'm forgetting. But yeah, just your basic.
Okay, it's not usually a trout lake, is it? Except
Marrowbone has a winter. And VFW used to, but they discontinued it. But now Marrowbone still continues the winter program. So.
Okay, and I know that right now Jason's running some video stuff.
Yeah, this is some shocking done on some of those lakes.
Which lake is that, Chris?
That is Laurel Hill Lake there.
It's just a variety of fish they're shocking up there doing their sampling.
Now that
studies.
day we got, almost every fish that's in the lake. I think we had red ear, we had all those I mentioned, and also one big grass carp. You probably saw popped up too.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that I think about when I think of our agency lakes, they are specifically just for fishing, and because of that, and because we happen to have hatcheries, they continually get stocked with fish. Correct?
Correct. From talking to the guys, we don't seem to get a lot of natural reproduction on our catfish. So catfish is usually every year or every other year, and they'll stock a lot of red ear and bluegill if they think it needs it. So, excuse me. But some of the other fish kind of take care of themselves. But yeah, those fish that don't seem to get a lot of reproduction, they'll try to just like in the reservoirs, try to help them out.
Okay. Are there some regulations on the number of fish you can catch or the size limits? Do we do any kind of trophy management on any bodies of water here in Middle Tennessee?
Well, Williamsport, the largemouth has to be 20 inches. So I guess you would consider that a trophy type of lake. And there are some really big bass in those lakes, but they have specific size limits. Some have slot limits on the bass. A lot of them have your creel limits on your bluegill and red ear combination. So, yeah, just check each lake when you go to visit.
Okay, and I noticed, just sort of looking over my shoulder there, I'm seeing Jim. There's that big grass carp.
There's that big grass carp.
I'm noticing that you got Jim Pippas to talk. How'd you do that, Chris?
Well, miracles happen every day.
I'm sure he did a good job. What's a video we can just show sometime, too? And Jesse showing some fish. Who's that with you, Jesse? And one other person I saw. I think it was Jesse, maybe not.
Yeah, that was Jesse, and they're holding the catfish, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all those videos are on our Facebook page if you want to go see those. Chris has done a great job shooting those and getting them to us, and Barry's been putting them up, so it's
my
awesome.
goodness, to think I can make a video somebody wouldn't want to watch.
You're
it's
doing
still,
a great
oh
job.
my goodness, it's still amazing.
Some of the early ones that you did too, Chris, were with your daughters. I love seeing those and some of the photographs with your daughters. You got 2 daughters. What's their names?
Sadie Grace and Sophie.
And they love to fish.
They do. They're like a lot of other kids. They'll get in the mood to go fishing, but sometimes they're not in the mood. Like a few weeks ago, they were ready to go, especially my youngest, 2 days in a row. And we went and kind of got her belly full for a while. They're into sports. They're into hanging out with their friends. They're into swimming just like any other kids, but they do like to go fishing too.
I feel like if you get them started, they'll be doing it 25 years from now. They'll come back to it.
Y'all don't know what fishing means to me. Now that I'm an old man, I cannot remember some days what I did yesterday. But I can remember so many of my fishing.
That's right.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I won't ever forget. I'm from Lincoln County in Mackburg, Chicken Creek, which goes dry sometimes in a dry summer. One year, suckers were running. Me and my brother went out there. We managed to catch 3 or 4 of them. My grandparents, why we wanted to do it and why they let us, I don't know. I guess just kids being kids and them letting us be kids. We put those fish in their bathtub for a little while. So TWRA recommends if you can get your fish alive, put your fish in the bathtub for a while. I hope you get some calls on that. But yeah.
We're in trouble now.
I definitely agree.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But just stuff like that, I mean, I think just like Free Fishing Day, the data people can say, are we gaining anglers or not? But every kid, I feel like we live in a time where kids just are growing up too fast. And every kid, whether they take the sport up or not, needs to feel a tug on a cane pole, a tug on a rod and reel. They need to let a crawdad pinch them one time, and they'll never forget it. Just those. Well, I was fishing at Goody Hill one time. That's in south of Park City when I was a little bitty thing. I was using a cane pole, and a catfish, I won't ever forget, just took my pole out in the middle of the lake. I just started squalling. And I won't ever forget, my Uncle Bruce, he cast out there, and he got my cane pole, brought it in, and fishing has every emotion in the book. When you cast and hang up 5 times, you are frustrated. But when I got that fish in, I went from squalling to a celebration. Just like that. So, fish, I'm telling you, Free Fishing Day, yeah, we have kids' events, but maybe you're someone who has never fished. Maybe you haven't fished since you was a kid. And, it don't have to be. We got a lot of guys who are so good at fishing. You don't have to. Just drag a worm around. You'll be surprised when we went to Del Hollow Lake, bluegill and shellcracker fishing, how many smallmouth we caught just dragging a red wiggler looking for those panfish and caught no telling how many smallmouth. So just go fishing.
Just go fishing. And the cane pole, people think almost like it's just it's an inexpensive thing that you can use. To me, it's a fishing weapon. My favorite person that ever fished Maribone we called him Tubman. He passed away a few years ago. All he used was a cane pole, and he outfished everybody on the lake using that cane pole. And
when I was a kid, it didn't matter if I was, we kind of looked down our nose at green sunfish. When I was a kid, bring on the green sunfish. I loved it. It didn't matter what I was catching. I just loved it.
Yeah, as long as they bite. Now, speaking of Free Fishing Day, you see all our shirts. Chris gave me a bright one. Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Anything
We'll
for you,
see
Doug.
Doug coming. He's going to scare the fish
I
off.
want you to stand out.
This is you wear this color when you're wading right down the middle of a creek.
Well, you know what?
Anyway, Chris, you got a big event yourself coming up. There's 2 lakes. There's that are going to have events, state lakes that they're all open to free fishing. Okay, but 2 events in Middle Tennessee are going to have free fishing day. Let's get to the one on Murray County first. Over there at Williamsport.
Yeah, the Whippoorwill Lake, the
Whippoorwill
kids'
Lake,
lake. That's about maybe one of the older events in the state. They've had it. I think you've probably been there years ago. It's had it for I guess over 2 decades probably.
Yeah, we started right after the lakes opened,
Yeah.
and it's named now after one of our late officers.
Yeah.
The event is and it's a great event. Williamsport is a wonderful place. Go fish the kids' lake, but if you want to filter out later in the day, you can fish the other. There's 4 of them there for you to do, and all that's on our site. What time it starts and all that, and the officers over there will do a great job with it. Rusty Thompson over there, and they'll do a wonderful job. And then there's the Laurel Hill
Correct.
that you're helping with.
Yeah.
Tell us all about that one.
Laurel Hill, just like many of the others, they're going to stock extra catfish like many places. And I want to give a shout out to our hatcheries that are they're taking a break from their duties, and they're traveling all over. And I guess the mid-state or all over the state, hauling these catfish everywhere. So I want to get a shout out to them and say thank you.
Our hatchery workers work hard all the
They
time.
really do. Crazy hours. But thank you to them. But yeah, at Laurel Hill, of course, extra catfish will be stocked. And those lakes open at daylight, and that's by law. So it's one of those things where, and usually I have to get there extremely early. Usually at 3:30, so people are waiting at the gate. So, but yeah, the gates open. Daylight's what we're going to be around, I think, 5 o'clock. So 30 minutes before sunrise. And that's when the event will start. And we have gotten... And can I give a shout out to our sponsors?
All of them.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
one of them.
And I hope I don't forget any of them. But Mr. Jack Cannon with Probation Services of Tennessee, he's been donating for several years now. Cabinets to Go, they have a branch in Lawrenceburg. They gave a donation. I want to say thank you to them. Walmart, our Lawrenceburg Walmart, they helped us out on some discount pricing and the cooler that we're giving away. Thank you to them. And I know Slider, Charlie Brewer's Slider Company, which
that
is in
place.
Lawrenceburg.
I love that place.
They donate and didn't care. Lifetime products. We decided this year, to try to get a bunch of rod and reels to give away, and we kind of didn't have any money for any other prizes. In our pool, and Lifetime Products notify them and said, you know what, we've just opened up a East Coast facility over in just the other side of Knoxville, over in, I think it's Mascot, Tennessee. Thank you to those workers over there building these boats, and they shipped them to us. We did not pay a dime. So Lifetime Products, thank you for that. So please tell me I'm not forgetting anybody. So.
You're doing as best you can, and Facebook
they'll understand.
But the really cool thing is getting rods and reels into kids' hands so that they'll have them again later. And we try to do that when we can. Looks like you've got something. First 500 kids? Did I read that correctly?
We have 500, and I think we may have like 503. We had a little bit over when we were dealing there with Walmart. They threw in a couple extras,
There you
so
go.
thank you for that. Just every little bit helps. So, yeah, we have. And you never know how many kids are going to show up. There may be 300. You may have 7. You just don't know. It depends on.
But if you're that first 500, you're going to get a rod and reel.
First 500 will get.
Zebco? Or
It's a little Zebco. I think they're called Slingshot. Yeah,
Okay.
just I think a 5.5 foot rod with a little
Cool.
202, and then those slider. I think we have over 200 little slider packs. They'll have a sticker and 2 or 3 baits in it. So.
Charlie Brewer Slider Worms, my favorite all-time bait. Don't know if that's what you got in there, but anything comes out of the Charlie Brewer factory is outstanding.
Well, it's mixed. One bag probably is not the same as the next. So it'd be a.
I toured that place a few years back, and even got to talk to Mr. Brewer not too many years before he passed away. He was a fantastic guy.
Yeah, that's an old company. It's been there a long time.
Learned to do. He said he experimented with a lot of his lures right there on Laurel Hill Lake. That he'd go out there.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, and experiment with it. It sounds like it's going to be a great event. And over in Murray County at Whippoorwill, it's the George Gregory annual
the
free fishing day. George,
the late Hickman County officer.
Hickman County, great guy,
Yes.
and named after him. And he was a fine person. He was a fine person too. And then we don't want to. We want to make sure you know that West Tennessee has some. They're going to have events on their lakes, some of their lakes too. So please look it up. West Tennessee.
Well, and even if there's not an event, I mean, it's free.
Open.
I mean,
Lake's
like our lake, if we did not have an event, it would still be crowded. So take advantage of it. You know, if fishing is a sport that you have, you know what? I don't know. I'm intimidated. I see these guys and gals on TV using these fancy. They are great anglers, but you don't have to have that to be. My girls the other day, we went out to Laurel Hill. I think we caught no telling how many bluegill, 6 or 7 catfish on the same type of reel that we're giving away.
Yeah.
So I mean, just a little cheap spin cast reel that. I'll be honest with you. As an adult, I still use them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them and love Zebco's. And Zebco's always been good. Whether you dealt with them directly on this, we've given away a lot of Zebco rod reel combinations because that company wants to. Of course, they're a business and they want to get their product out there,
right.
But they're still they downmark their stuff so much to get in these kids' hands. I really appreciate that they do that too, and they recognize that states across the country do this free fishing day stuff, and they're really good to help out some.
Yep.
0 hour bait company, Zebco. That's what they are called for some reason.
That's
Chris,
interesting. Hadn't heard that.
this year, give us a tip or two on how to catch, not necessarily where you go, but how do you catch a bluegill? What's the best way? The best way to catch a bluegill, or these red hair sunfish that are on bed, maybe for another week or two, maybe.
Bluegill fishing. Bluegill are very aggressive unless they're in shallow, clear water. You can, even if you are sight fishing and you see bluegill, try to back off of them, because if it's shallow and clear, now if the water's got color to it, you can get pretty close, and they're really aggressive. But they're a little spookier than people think on these beds. Shellcracker are not as spooky, but still, I always try, if I know where some fish are, I try to stay back from them and then start creeping up.
You throwing artificial stuff, or you throwing just night crawler or red wriggler worm?
This is just my opinion. I've got a lot of artificial, but a red worm to me is the best bait. I mean, crickets. I used to always use crickets, but I think shellcracker kind of prefer especially if you can hook it where it wiggles a little. Just sometimes maybe they're not even eating it; they're just trying to get it out of the way.
Yeah. Now, are you do you fish for them under a bobber, or you drag it right on that bottom?
9 times out of 10, I'm just dragging bottom. I do not use a float. And you always think of these bedding fish being shallow, but and like I say, if you have a depth finder, now this is just me. There's a lot of people out there who are better pan fishermen than me, but a lot of these beds may be out in 6 to 8 foot of water. Keep that in mind. If you're shallow water fishing, we were at Pickwick one time and we fished shallow, and they weren't there. And my buddy, Kevin Hammonds, I give him a shout out because he has taught me so much about fishing also. He said, let's go back and back off a little. And sure enough, we were sitting right on top of where the fish were.
Oh,
we
wow.
backed off, and
it was on.
It was on.
We still
Shellcracker and bluegill side by side.
The shellcracker will go off bed first generally, but these bluegill, they're going to be on bed all of June, right? And catfish too, right now.
It depends on what lake. It seems like some of these lakes that maybe when they're not as thick, you'll be surprised.
With
Even
the shellcrackers?
even shellcracker are bed on into summer. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And just keep that in mind. And keep in mind that June is a great month for catfish. They'll eat the heck out of those red wigglers you were just talking
They will.
about.
If you drag, you'll be surprised. You drag a red wiggler or a cricket around, you may catch no telling what. You may be fishing for bluegill and end up with a limited catfish.
Okay, just as if you're a novice, just make sure you look at those hooks. Remember, you can look at the pictures of these fish and see how big their mouth is. Don't use a hook this big, all right? Just make sure your hooks are.
I usually use a number 4.
It's written on the box.
Yeah.
A number 4. That's a good.
That's what I use now. Yeah, a lot of folks like to use smaller. A lot of folks like to use a little bigger. But yeah, that's usually what I. And if I can find it, a cricket hook, has a
Long
little bit.
chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just remember those numbers. 4, 6 in that area, you're going to be good.
That's what I use. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else?
Hey, thanks for watching this show. Page 22, I was looking in the fishing guide, is all those TWRA lakes. So if you're looking up one of those, page 22 in the hunting guide, visit tnwildlife.org and you can find it there too.
And where are they going to find all these free fishing day events?
tnwildlife.org.
Okay. And right on the front, what's it look like?
Oh, the little kid in the hat.
With the
cowboy
worm box.
hat.
Got
Yeah.
the worm box.
Yeah, the
Got
worm box.
The worm box Chris is talking about.
That's it. So,
All right, Chris. Thank you for these shirts. They're cool.
I've made the big time. I've now made y'all. I can now retire in peace.
You wear that hat proudly.
Yes,
okay?
I will.
We'll
Thank
wear
y'all
it,
for
Chris.
having me.
All right,
My
Chris, you
goodness.
do a great job
Oh, my
with
goodness,
your
thank
videos.
y'all.
We appreciate your video on
Well,
Facebook. We do.
I don't know, but thank you.
You're welcome, Chris. Thank you.
thank you. See y'all next time.
See you, everybody.